Hello and welcome to another episode here on my channel. My name is ChaosMole and today we have the Lost Ark September team update. As you know, Lost Ark has been postponed into 2022 and the closed beta will happen in November? Was it November? I think it was November. Damn it, I'm bad with dates. However, we have a new team update where the Lost Ark team is informing us a little bit more. That was one of the main things they have also announced when they told us that the game is not coming out this year and that they want to talk to us a little bit more. And I really do appreciate that because let's be real here. Communication-wise, the last half a year was not that great. Like, we got some infos here and there, we got some trailers here and there, but it was very slow. And we never really knew where the game was at. Like, yeah, sure, we have all played the alpha, it was fun, and they apparently got some viable information from it, but then we have basically never heard about the game ever again, so to speak. And I'm glad that they are now back. So we will read through this, and then we will talk about it. And if you're wondering, like sometimes when there are alerts going off or when I'm talking to somebody, I'm also live streaming right now and I'm recording this at the same time. So if you're wondering like, who is he talking to? What's going on? I'm also live streaming, but I also wanted to record this for the YouTubes. So with that said, and without further ado, let's just jump right in, shall we? Heroes of Arkesia. Since Technical Alpha, we've been hard at work preparing the vast world of Arkesia for players in the West. We know that players are eagerly awaiting beta and launch, and we're excited to embark on those adventures alongside you. In the meantime, we wanted to share some insight on what it takes to polish a game with the scale of Lost Ark in new regions. Though things might feel a bit quiet, they certainly aren't behind the scenes. Here's a look at some of the things we have been up to. Yeah, this is what I said before, right? Like, they really... Like, I get it. COVID, other changes at the company, scale bigger than they have planned. Like, there are a lot of things which can postpone a game. And that's not a bad thing. Happens. That's okay. But... There's actually another game which came to mind yesterday, and that is Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, where they announced half a year ago, hey, we are swapping out the developer because even though the game should have been released months ago, we are not really happy with it. We are not happy with the developers, so we are now looking for a new developer, and we will stay in contact with you and inform you shortly about like the new changes. Yeah, that's now over 6 months ago and people are still like, did anything happen? Did we get any information? Nope. I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, keeping your people in the loop, not just for the hype, but just people are looking forward to your games. And to know that something is going on at least is very reassuring. Localization. As you may know, we'll be publishing Lost Ark in English, Spanish, French, and German. That's 4 languages worth of quests, stories, skills, items, systems, and any other in-game text that you can think of. And that doesn't even include the voice-over performance. Lost Ark contains nearly 3 million words of English text and is still growing. That's about the same length as every book in A Song of Ice and Fire series multiplied by 2. All this text must be translated, first from Korean into English and then from English into French, German, and Spanish. So that all these languages have the same frame of reference. Regardless of the language you play in, everyone will be able to refer to the same NPCs and locations with the same terminology. Can I just jump in here for a second? This is so important and I'm so glad that they are doing it. Like, this is something World of Warcraft, in my opinion, has completely screwed up. So if you have only played the English version of World of Warcraft, then Nothing has ever changed for you. But if you have played like the localized versions of World of Warcraft, then I think they did it in Wrath of the Lich King? After Wrath of the Lich King? At some point, they decided to localize last names, city names, and even like some terminology. And it was like, wait, what? Like, till that point, Stormwind was Stormwind, right? Ironforge was Ironforge. Jaina Proudmoor was Jaina Proudmoor. Like, they all had the same name because, well, you normally do not localize last names or even like city names into other languages. But Blizzard did that. And it was a disaster. It was an absolutely disaster. So I'm glad they are not doing that. I'm really, really glad about that. Acacia is an expensive word, populated by thousands of characters, roughly 4,500 of which have voiceover. We have spent many weeks in the recording studio with voice talent and also have engineered each sound file to ensure the demonic special effects are suitable menacing. Music plays as an important role in the game, wherever it's setting the mood for pivotal dramatic moments, or whatever it's a half dozen characters singing a hearty musical number in an ode to a blacksmith getting his mojo back. Spoilers? People don't know which quest that is. Lost Ark showcases several songs that have been fully localized. Yeah, they had that in the other regions as well. There are some songs which then were in the Russian language. That's the version I played, so that was in Russian. We want to make sure our players enjoy a thoughtful, emotional connection to these events. Once the localized text and audio is integrated into the game, we make sure everything is polished and looking good. Korean as a language is much more economical in terms of space than English or German. And with as many complex systems and mechanics as Lost Ark, we rely on our localization Q&A team to let us know when the text is bursting out of its UI seams. This is so fun. This in particular, if you are asking any developer where one of the biggest issues sometimes lie in making a game like an RPG or something like that, their answer will be often or not German. Why? Because German loves long, convoluted words. Instead of having like multiple words or something like that, they're just like long and convoluted. And often or not, like everything looks great when they are like localizing the interface and everything fits. And then German comes in and you have so many words which are just not fitting in the interface anymore. It looks horrible. Like a lot of developers have that problem. It's a complex balancing act of figuring out how to shorten things so that they are still understandable and intuitive, and when to tweak the user interface to allow more room. Yeah, like as I said, especially in German, it's horrible. We want you to feel like this game was made for you, and all of that takes time, creativity, and a lot of love. I know this is a part where a lot of people just say, nah, I don't care. Look, just make it so I can barely understand it in English, and then we are good. Yeah, I know they could do that, but I'm actually rather grateful they don't. And, well, localizing it in all the different languages takes a lot of time. That takes a lot of time. And if you want to have a wonderful example of a game which did a fantastic job with localization, check out Final Fantasy XIV Online. Their localization team is doing an amazing job. Like, the quest texts are fun, they make sense, and there's just a lot of things which really feel like, okay, that team has thought about it and how to make it good. Translating all the things from Japanese to English. Like, their work is just outstanding. So, yep, take your time with this. I know this is not really on the hit list of interesting things people talk about when they are talking about like bringing a game over to another region, but it is very important. And I have seen enough games which screwed that slightly up. I think Ion was pretty meh. Like, as I said, with World of Warcraft in the middle of development, they pulled that bullshit. And there have been, I think Terra was also terrible. Yeah, there have been some games in the past which didn't do a great job. Infrastructure. Lost Ark has been operating in South Korea since 2018, but expanding into the West has introduced some interesting challenges when it comes to the game's new infrastructure. We've been working hard to ensure Lost Ark operates smoothly for players in our supported regions. When publishing the game in a span of new regions, one of our goals was to reduce the latency our customers could experience due to their varied locations. To accomplish this, we made the decision to deploy Lost Ark in multiple data centers on the North American East and West Coast, as well as in Europe. Sounds simple enough, right? It turns out, using multiple data centers required altering the technology of the server architecture, so tech changes were necessary to get everything working with our internal services. It then took a combined effort from both Amazon Games and Masquerade RPG engineers to configure servers across region for centralized services and to make the game run on completely new hardware. On top of all that, the sheer amount of services required to operate in any given data center are not insignificant. Between game servers, backend servers, and databases, over 60 different systems are needed in each data center. Not only do these systems need to be manually stood up, but each has its own requirement for configuration, communication access, hardware specs, and more. We've been working around the clock with Smilegate in both the Pacific and Korea time zones to ensure everything is prepared for Lost Ark and that all aspects of the game are working and communicating properly with all necessary services. Between Smilegate and Amazon, we have applied nearly 4 person-years of effort to accomplish this, and that doesn't include the additional time taken to ensure things like customer service, analytics, login process, and a host of other tech are operational. There's been a lot of work, but we're excited to deliver this incredible game to fans new and old. This is also something which is like very interesting. And another wonderful example of this is Final Fantasy XIV, and they have a similar issue right now. They have been trying now for quite some time to establish oceanic servers for Final Fantasy XIV, especially for players in Australia, so that they don't have to connect to like Japanese or American servers or something like that. And especially with COVID, it's a huge problem. Like, they want to send their engineers and their server operators from Japan to Australia, but because of COVID, it's barely possible. And so they have to do everything remotely, and setting up physical servers remotely is a real hassle. Like, it's a real hassle. And I can see that they also have similar issues. Like, I know that everyone is like, hey, it's Amazon, right? This is Amazon Cloud they're using. Like, this should be super easy. They literally just have to plug it in and then it should run. And the reality is, no, it's not that easy. Especially with the COVID restrictions, it might be actually very problematic, because I can see that Smilegate maybe wants to come over. Like, they want to make sure that the servers are running correctly. that everything has been done as they wanted it to be. So, and COVID doesn't really make that easier. Testing. Getting a game in tip-top shape and drumming up new builds takes lots and lots of testing. Our user research and quality assurance (Q&A) team have been hard at work, testing and retesting Lost Ark to help squash bugs and test new features and processes. Collaborating with Masquerade RPG, our QA team has tested over 30 full game builds. In that time, the team has also verified more than 440 fixed bugs and feature improvements specific to the Western release of the game. Additionally, we have piloted new feedback loops with our user research and playtesting groups to help our production team make data-informed decisions surrounding Lost Ark, which will continue to benefit the game in the future. Every time I hear that, I have to think about World of Warcraft and how they have been basically completely switching World of Warcraft to data-informed decisions and purely data-informed decisions on literally everything in that game. And every time the community was like, what are you doing there? Blizzard's answer was, trust the data. Like, you don't know what you want. The data knows what you want. We're doing what we have to do. Like, just trust us on this. And now it turns out that that wasn't always the best idea. Not at all. And Blizzard now has to listen to the community and realizes, oh, wait a second. Wait. People don't like this, but the data has told us. Yeah, because the data is like having data on fun is not always as easy as it sounds. During testing, we have also executed several studio-wide bug bashes where Amazon Games employees are piled into our servers to help test the game on a larger scale. Squashing bugs is dirty work, but our QA team has been making sure that Lost Ark will be as bug-free as possible. Yeah, I know that, and I can also say this as somebody who has played hundreds of MMOs in the last decade. It's always fascinating to see how this works. When games are coming over into the West, you would assume that if those games have been already running for a while, that they should be relatively bug-free. Or that we shouldn't have like the same bugs as the people who have already played this game for like a year or 2 years or something like that. And that's not the case, because sometimes bugs can just occur because of new server technology. Like they're running on a completely different server software. They want some changes in it, and like just meddling with the code in any shape or form can create bugs. I remember actually one funny bug which got some like real trouble was Ion. Ion came over to the West, and I think it was only one particular server back in the day where people couldn't spread their wings. Keep in mind, that is very important in Ion, right? Like you were getting your angel wings or demon wings after the tutorial, and well, not being able to fly makes the game very difficult. And there was one particular server where people just couldn't fly, and the developers were flabbergasted by this because they never had that issue. It was a completely new problem which occurred for, I think it was only the European version, because Europe and NA had two different publishers. Yeah, in NA it was NCSoft who did the publishing, and in Europe it was what's the name? Gameforge. But yeah, it was just fascinating to see, and something like that can happen. Or also Ion related, they had like an antivirus, or not antivirus, like an anti-cheating program. Problem was that also worked as antivirus, And there wasn't really a problem in South Korea because most people are going into LAN cafes or internet cafes, right, to just play their games. So having like a program which is also working as an antivirus software at the same time is not really a problem there. It helps a lot with those internet cafe computers. Problem was, here in the West, where everyone has their own system and a lot of people have their own antivirus program running in the background, this created blue screens. Because if you were trying to run like 2 different antivirus like softwares, especially back in the past, oh, you don't do that. That is a very bad idea. Like, this is how you get a PC angry, so to speak. But that's exactly what happened. Like, people booted up the game, they had their antivirus program up, and it created a blue screen. And they had to remove that part, and it took them quite a while. And they haven't really thought about it. So testing it out and really make sure that it really works under this new environment is very crucial. And I know, again, for a lot of people, this might just sound like, yeah, whatever. Like, why do they have to test it? The game is out for 2 years now in South Korea. They have probably squashed all the bugs already. So what's the problem here? Yeah, you will be surprised. Striker class. All that practice looking for Mokoko seeds has paid off. In our Founders Back Showcase article, some adepts' eyes spotted the Striker version of the Platinum avatar. We have recently implemented the Striker class in our version of Lost Ark, which will round out our rooster as our 15 class. This class will be playable during beta and at launch. The Striker class is ideal for anyone who feels like they might want to punch and kick their way through Arkesia, but we'll let the flying fists speak for themselves. Strikers are excellent jugglers, preferring to keep their enemies in the air, unleashing graceful destruction with splendid aerial combos. They attack like strong wind, are equipped with fast, fluid movement, and use both quick-hitting combos and powerful elemental skills to turn the tide of battle. And you can learn more about the Striker Advanced class in our Martial Arts Spotlight article. Yeah, we have already watched that. We want our players to know that we have passionate and dedicated team working on Lost Ark, and looking ahead, we want to ensure that our work on the game is being clearly communicated. Thank you for your patience and support while we get Lost Ark ready for launch. We look forward to seeing you in Arkesia. Arkesia? Something cheese. Definitely cheese. Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised when they showcased the Striker class. Like, I was really surprised about that, because as I said before, the Striker class is definitely one of the newest classes in the South Korean version, and we are still missing some of the release classes from the Lost Korean version. So it's just fascinating to see, to have like some of the newest classes in the game in our version we are getting here in the West, and some of the oldest classes in the game are missing. Well, they have explained, because apparently like some of the oldest classes which are missing right now are getting a complete do-over in South Korea in just a few months. And they don't really want to showcase them or bring them over, because they might be completely different or play very different as people know them. So yeah, I can understand that. Like, you don't want to showcase a class and then say a month later, remember when we showcased this class and you maybe even played it? Yeah, that's not how it plays at all anymore, and it's no different. Like, you don't want to do that. I can understand that, but it's still interesting to see. But yeah, that was a good update. They should definitely do that more. I would definitely love to see more about it. Yeah, that's for sure. All right. But with that said, I think I have said everything I wanted to say. we are at the end of the video. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you're on your way out, I would appreciate if you leave a like. And, well, if you didn't enjoy this video for whatever reason, the dislike button is right next to it. And if you're also new to the channel and you want to see more Lost Ark videos coming your way, then I would appreciate if you might consider to subscribe to the channel, because it helps me out greatly. And it's free. So thank you very much for that. And also don't forget to click the bell icon, because it doesn't help much if you subscribe to the channel, but then you never get informed that I actually uploaded a new video. And then you're wondering, what the hell is this guy doing actually? I do a lot, but YouTube doesn't like to inform you all the time. So thank you very much for that, and I will see you next time. Till then, stay safe.